Beleza. Voltamos aí. Só continuar aqui.
So, did you finally go after that Bob feller?
Well, I heard word he was in Kansas with John Wesley Hardin. So that's where I went.
Where in Kansas?
Abilene. Why do you ask, Ben?
No reason.
Was Hardin as fast as Ringo?
Ringo was fast, but John Wesley was as fast as the devil himself.
Episódio 4. John Wesley.
Yeah, he killed his first man at 15. From that day forward, he had a price on his head and wouldn't back down for nobody, not even Wild Bill Hickok himself.
Seja rápido ou seja morto. Ok. Vamos lá.
I dodged death many a time, and that night in Abilene was no different. I was there with the intention of finding that bastard Bob and collecting the bounty on John Wesley.
I thought the Texas Rangers got Hardin.
Yeah, that's what they want you to believe.
Espingarda, 2 balas.
It was cold'n a witch's tit in a brass bra that night as I fought my way past his loyal compadres.
Tô atirando melhor agora. Tô pegando a manha, velho. Tá pra lá, né? A estrela tá pra lá. Tô sem bala. É aqui que eu tenho que entrar? Não. Vou dar a volta.
To the very same saloon we're sitting in today.
Tá. Ah, tem que escalar. Tem que escalar. Escalar aqui também. Será que é por cima? Não é por cima não. Não dá pra cair também. Acho que a primeira parte teve um problema técnico com o áudio, velho. Mas eu acho que eu já arrumei já, agora deve estar melhor. Aqui a entrada do salão.
Look around and imagine this place painted in blood. Hardin was waiting for me.
Duelo? Twisted Fate.
Wait, I'm jumping the gun here. Let me back up and give you some background on this sumbitch. He deserves that much. Don't you think so, Ben? John Wesley Hardin was a killer. By the end, he confessed to taking the lives of 42 men. He was a bona fide folk hero by then, and had amassed a gang of armed miscreants and other assorted thugs. He and his men set up camp outside of town, and I was hoping Bob was among them.
Son of a bitch!
They didn't ask why I was there. They knew.
Certo. Sangue frio. Aumenta a barra de concentração. Sequência mortal. Esse daqui da dinamite eu não vou catar, não. Esse daqui tá travado até eu liberar esse daqui pra ter mais bala. Então não vou pegar também, não. Eu vou pegar esses daqui. Prontidão, recarrega a arma, iniciar concentração. Tá, vou pegar só esses daqui. E beleza. Aí pega essa última aqui. Aí fechou os pistoleiros. Aí eu pulo pra caçador pra aguentar um pouco mais de dano. E vou aumentando esses dois gradualmente.
I had to spill a lot of blood to find out Hardin wasn't in that camp. He was carousing in town with his closest friends.
Puta merda, eu tava queimando
Hardin's
ali.
boys apparently didn't want me to reach the Bull's Head. Some were hightailing it into town to inform their jefe of my unwelcome presence.
Você tira mais rápido, né? Não. Tá certo. Vamos com essa daqui mesmo. Mosquei. Era pra ter desviado. De novo.
Better 3 hours early than a minute too late. Most of them were wanted as
Nossa, ele é
well.
um par de bala.
I figured Hardin was here somewhere, but to get to him, I'd have to get past his gun hands.
Rifle. Eu vou de riflão.
Can't believe you.
Vem de novo.
I'm gonna shoot you dead.
Deixa eu terminar com esse cara aqui. Não. Achei que ele tava ali. Onde que esse cara tá?
Just hit your man.
Tell Hardin someone's coming for him.
Stop that son of a bitch.
Let the boys know we got another load.
Deixa eu ver. Ah, é, eu não tinha upado o negócio aqui, ó. Beleza. É porque naquela hora lá eu tinha upado.
I wondered if Bob was among them. And I steeled myself for the fight ahead. For as good as I was, deep down I wondered if John Wesley wasn't just a little bit better. Before I could test my mettle against Hardin, however, I would first need to dispatch his cadre of hired killers. Most of these degenerates were beyond redemption, but John Wesley might have been a different story.
Calma aí, o cara não vai botar a cara dele? Não pegou?
I didn't learn until later that that night was in fact his birthday celebration.
morre, não? Ai. Morreu.
Crazy bastard. Suffice it to say, nobody there was happy to see me. I think I already mentioned that I found Martin in this very saloon.
There he is. Shoot him! Shoot him! Sorry, son of a bitch!
Tinha outra ali. Eu entrei muito rápido, velho. Aí azedou. Entrei muito rápido no salão. E fui rushando. Nem me liguei. Ó. Pau. 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 Pau.
In fact, I felt a certain hostility.
You better hide!
Ai, já tá morto. É lá em cima que ele tá. Certeza.
I was disappointed that neither Bob nor John Wesley were among the dead. But that was short-lived, as a moment later I was facing down the fastest gun in the West.
Vamos lá, cara das cartinhas. É duelo. Vamos matar o... Matou um cara. Outros 40 pra respirar. Beleza.
I felt a bolt of adrenaline. Or maybe that was fear. He was well known for his tricks, and I knew I'd need my own if I was ever to defeat him.
Parece que vai, aperta espaço para continuar. Errei! É só pra esquivar?
No, wait! You didn't hit me then. I'm sure of it.
Ué? Tá, beleza. Tô duelando com o cara. É, mas minha mira tá pra cá. Certo. Minha mira tá pra cá. Minha mira tá no cara. Ou não? Velocidade. Entendi. Tá, tem outro minigame agora, velho. Vamos, vai. Vamos. Tô mirando no cara. Tô focado no cara. A minha mira desceu. Tô focado no cara. Beleza. O cara me deu uma bala só, não deu pra desviar. Não deu nem pra desviar, velho. Caralho. Esse é bom mesmo, esse cara aí é bom mesmo. Aí, daí aumenta a velocidade, tá. Ah, tá. Tá bom. Já tô bem focado já. Mas minha velocidade não tá boa. Só pega 10 de velocidade. Mano, tô focado no cara um bom tanto, velho. E não dá pra desviar da bala do maluco. Aquele primeiro minigame deu pra desviar do cara. Olha lá. Tô focado, ó. A cara do maluco. Beleza. Desviei. Ah!
That man was faster than greased lightning. But being inebriated as he was, he didn't count his shots.
Ah, ele
And
perdeu
now,
todas as balas.
he was at my mercy.
Entendi.
So he didn't die?
No, I sent him to prison.
Ah, eu só
Years
prendi.
later, after he was free,
Então
some
eu tinha que
restless
desviar.
avenger took his life.
Entendi.
Shot him in the back in a saloon just like this one. Anybody up for another beer? Ben?
Entendi. Tá, não tinha entendido no começo, mas entendi. O meu propósito não era matar o cara.
Thank you, darling. Yeah, some say revenge is a dish best served cold.
So whatever happened to that Bob guy you were after?
Personally, I'd like to hear some of your other adventures. Like, I don't know, do you ever go toe-to-toe with a red man?
Peles vermelhas. É índio agora? Grey Wolf. Deve ser
Yes, I
índio.
did, Ben.
Ah lá.
I remember once I was after this renegade Apache, Grey Wolf. Strangely enough, revenge was also his primary motivation.
Agora vai ser os indião, se pá. Dança com os renegados. Ou será que é pessoa mesmo? Pessoa índio? Pessoa índia. Quem vê pensa que índio é pessoa. Mas
A bounty was put on Grey Wolf's head,
Cara,
and that's how I came to hunt him in the mountains.
Pessoa
Mountains so
índio
high
e
they tickled
pessoa
the nether
humana.
regions of heaven.
Há muito tempo nas montanhas muito distantes.
Grey Wolf was a Chiricahua Apache medicine man who had led a war party in revenge for a massacre against his people.
lutar com
The U.S.
índio,
Army
eu
had
vou lutar
attacked his
com
tribe during his daughter's sacred sunrise ceremony,
Velho Oeste.
and the slaughter was unspeakable. I understood his anger,
O índio,
as there's
índio
nothing
bandido,
more
índio
traumatic
maluco.
than seeing those you love die in a cruel and painful death.
Se bem que os caras devem ser mais fortes, porque é fase elevada, né? Pode ser que os caras sejam mais fortes. Eles usam
Right
arcos
from the
pra-
beginning, I couldn't
Olha que
shake
da
the
hora.
feeling that Grey Wolf was watching my every move.
lobo cinzento.
He led a band of young Apache warriors who wanted retribution and were more than willing to die for him.
É, vai ser com índio agora. Eu sou índio, vai ser agora. Tá. Ah, mas isso aqui não parece indígena.
They saw me before I saw them.
Nossa, os caras é mó rápido, velho. Ô, louco, os caras é mó rápido. É mais forte ainda, velho. Ó. Eles me viram antes de eu ver eles.
They saw me before I saw them. And it crossed my mind that maybe this wasn't
Tinha
such a
mais
good
ainda.
idea.
Tinha mais ainda. Essa vai ser foda. Essa vai ser complicada. Ó.
They saw me before I saw them.
Veio no meio do tronco da árvore o tiro, eu nem vi a direção que a bala veio, velho.
They saw me before I saw them. My mind that maybe this wasn't such a good idea. But now that the shooting has started, There was no backing down.
Colou. Cola de ouro? Os caras usam espingarda também, fi. Não é arco e flechinha, não.
It was rugged country, the winter home of the Chiricahuas. And that's why they had retreated later.
Tem alguém atirando atrás? Mas o índio é mais brabo. O índio é mais brabo
I
ainda.
admit to having some regrets about going after them the way I did. But then again, I got a lot of
Tem
those.
alguém atirando? Ó. Não. Oh, meu Deus do céu, viu? Os caras ficam nas montanhas, velho. Mais foda ainda.
Did you find Grey Wolf?
Not at that moment, but I did find the entrance to their hideout. A deep crevice that led to a deeper cave.
That's how you went in there.
Yeah, but it's not out of bravery so much as pure, angry cussedness.
Vasculhei as cavernas e encontro o lobo cinzento. Tá. Aqui. Rushei de novo, velho. Rushei de novo sem ver, velho. Já tomei 3 balas, uma de cada lado.
See, back then, I had a stubborn streak a mile wide, and I wasn't about to back down.
So it was like pitch black in there?
Actually, it was pretty well lit. They had torches on the walls.
How big was this cave?
Big as hell, Ben. Chiricahua had hid out there during the Indian Wars. They thought it was haunted with the ghosts of those murdered by the horse soldiers.
The cave was haunted with dead Indian ghosts?
To be honest,
Oh, dead?
I was more concerned with the live ones than the dead ones.
Jamais ali. Eu tô sem dinamite, não tô? Ou eu tenho dinamite? Dá pra fazer a sequência certa.
much about engines?
A few years back, I was
Pode
married to
essas
two
vozes, mano. Fica
Nesca.
atrapalhando, não
At
dá
the
pra ouvir o
same
barulho
time.
que os caras tá
Yeah,
fazendo.
they were sisters. Polygyny is traditional among the Mescalero.
So what happened?
Oh, I had to get out of there. Those girls never shut up. Both of them nagging at me all the time. Drove me half crazy. Haven't seen them since. I came upon this flooded grotto, and that's when I saw him. He came to me unarmed and unafraid. His voice echoed in the shadows. And I sensed he meant me no harm.
You carry great darkness in your heart, and if you do not release it, it will claim your soul.
The sound of his voice put some kind of ancient Indian spell on me.
É.
As his story unfolded in my mind,
You will come to this place again and kill many more men, and the darkness will grow until it consumes everything that you are. The soul would have no rainbow if I had no tears.
he said I was a great warrior, a coyote man, unequaled by any other pale-faced warrior, or
Olha o
something
tanto
like
de
that.
inimigo que tem aqui, né, velho? Pelo amor de Deus, né? Deixa eu pegar as duas pistolas.
As his story unfolded in my mind,
You will come to this place again and kill many more men, and the darkness will grow until it consumes everything that you are. The soul would have no rainbow if the eye had no tears.
Ah, perdi o tempo.
he said I was a great warrior, a coyote man, unequaled by any other pale-faced warrior, or something like that.
The snakes will bite shadows of your past until a venom poisons your heart, and an echo of the song of the dead summons the spirits deep from within the mountains.
I didn't quite get what he was saying, but there was definitely snakes. And indeed, his warriors surrounded me and attacked me like hungry wolverines. They couldn't stop me though, and Grey Wolf wasn't in the mood for idle talk.
Tem alguém aqui?
I swear I couldn't see any way out of this trap. But suddenly, one just appeared. Kind of like a miracle.
Perseverança. Ô louco, que é isso? Ô louco. Pra escolher as cavernas do lobo cinzento. Ah, mas eu já vim por ali. Ah, eu vou subir aqui. Deixa eu ver se posso pegar mais munição, velho. Tá bom. Aqui já tá cheio, viu?
I felt like I would be lost in that damn cave forever. Finally, I found myself back outside, perched on the edge of a precipice, overlooking a thundering whitewater river. To get where I was going required several leaps of faith, but no way in hell I was turning back. I chased after him, determined to make him explain the meaning of all that mumbo-jumbo.
Mumbo Jumbo's right. Are you making this all up as you go?
A few details may be fuzzy, brother, but I am relating exactly what happened. There were dozens of Apache warriors aiming at me from on high.
Dozens.
Well, maybe not dozens, but there was a lot of them.
Só tinha
At least
três.
3 or 4.
Well, more than that, anyway.
Ripley. Ripley.
I had a steep climb up creek ahead of me and scrambled up those rocks like a mountain goat. I was determined to locate Grey Wolf and find out exactly what the hell he was trying to tell me. And wouldn't you know it, that crafty son of a bitch led me right into a trap.
What kind of trap?
Well, son, there had to be at least 100 Apaches surrounding me.
Nice.
100?
God be my
Very
witness.
nice.
Oh, come on. Who are you kidding?
Hey, I believe you. Come on, tell us how it ended.
All right, but I'm not gonna drag this out. Where were we?
You were surrounded by 100 Apache warriors.
Well, I didn't take the time to count them exactly, but there were a lot of them.
Esses é melee, né? Cadê? Nossa, mas que é isso, velho? Que é isso, velho?
And in the end, a path appeared before me that I had not seen before.
Quase, mano.
I
Quase
followed
foi.
it as I desperately needed to find out what Grey Wolf was trying to
Eu
tell
joguei
me.
bem time história.
But it was like that son of a bitch disappeared into thin air.
O cara vira bicho. O cara é mágico.
Never did find him. And never did collect my goddamn bounty.
Eu falei? Eu falei? Falei? Ei. Eu atirei no cara, velho.
Thank you, darling. It's interesting how the truth can sometimes seem might malleable, depending upon your point of view.
Like how those dime novels make you out to be something you're not?
Jack, don't be starting trouble.
No, he's right. They do tend to exaggerate.
Did they exaggerate your part in taking down the Daltons?
Well, I was there in the flesh, boy, so I saw what happened firsthand.
Episódio 5. 5 ou 6?
Those Daltons were lawmen once, before they all went bad, robbing banks and trains clear across the territory. Until Coffeeville, of course. I was one of the citizens who took up arms that day.
Fighting on the side of the right.
I did my best, sir. We all did.
Bora.
It was early morning. One of my friends was a local gunsmith, and he handed out firearms to anybody who'd take one. You see, the dogs got it in their heads to rob 2 banks at the same time. 2 banks on the same damn street.
Ixi, só peguei essas duas. 23, livrei.
The story was Bob Dalton's girl was always riding him about how he had no ambition. Oh, you're nobody next to Jesse James, she'd say. Finally, the bastard took his brothers to Coffeeville just to shut her up. Well, the locals recognized the Daltons right off. Before they could get away, half the town took up arms to defend their property. Their first mistake was pulling a job in their own damn hometown. We gotta put holes in them. The brothers paid dearly for their stupidity, but everybody knows they had it coming.
There's more to it than that. I read all about that day, so I know for a fact that it went down very differently. First of all, it was high noon. A posse of U.S. deputy marshals were on the rooftop across the street.
Get ready, boys. They're gonna make a move.
The lawmen had been tracking the Daltons for months. Now they finally had them dead to rights. Among them was a bounty hunter feared by many a lawbreaker. This man had no intention of letting the Daltons slip away. The marshals tried to get the Daltons to surrender.
Don't give up, Electra. We just gotta wait till something pitches out.
This bounty hunter knew that the brothers were far too proud to ever lay down their guns. He went in there alone to confront those criminals. One of the marshals shouted, "Where are you going? Are you crazy?"
Hey, where do you think you're going, dumbass? That rifle's mine.
But he paid him no mind. He saw a way to get around to the back of the bank. Then he figured out how to hit the Daltons from a direction they weren't expecting. A moment later, he was climbing up a steep ladder, laughing at danger as he did. It was brave men like him who risked their lives to tame this wild country.
Pulo.
We've got company.
Heroic men like him who did what other men couldn't or wouldn't to make this country free. Like Jim Bowie, Davy Crockett, who died defending the Alamo.
Ah. Ixi, perdi as duas pistolas. Ah, não. Tá certo, tá certo. Ó o cofre.
Is that Silas Greaves? Son of a bitch! Over there!
Ai, errei.
Silas Greaves!
What the hell? Blam! Blam! He came away victorious, taking down those thieving Daltons. His name was Silas Greaves. And when the dust
Silas
finally
Greaves.
settled, he was the last man standing.
Silas Graves.
Sorry, kid, but that just wasn't the way it happened.
Ixi, mais uma lembrança.
It was early evening, not high noon. The Daltons blew up a safe and were all set to hightail it out of there. Those pathetic deputies surrounding the bank were dropping like flies.
O cara saiu atirando. Nossa, vou ter que jogar contra 3.
I'd been tracking those jokers for months, waiting for them to do something reckless.
Ô louco, eu cheguei tomando bala dos caras, velho.
Finally, they did. Those stupid bastards decided to rob 2 banks at the same time in the same town where everybody knew them. But they still had friends in Coffeeville.
Toma.
Those friends came after me like a pack of wild dogs, tooth and nail. They were coming at me from all directions. I caught sight of the Daltons running with the money and didn't want to lose it. Problem was, they knew the town better than I did. And to top it off, I found myself in the middle of another shootout entirely.
Did the Daltons hole up in somebody's house?
No, it was the Smiths, I believe. They were cousins of the Daltons, and they were shooting at the Browns, who were shooting at the Daltons, which wasn't any surprise, because those two families have been feuding forever. And since the Joneses are related to the Browns, they shot at the Smiths, pissing off the Heimhoffers, whose daughter recently married a Smith. Well, bullets were flying every which way as all the old feuds in Kansas caught fire all at once. There was a hell of a lot of pissed off people in Coffeyville that day. But that's just the way life is sometimes. Shit happens.
It happened. Nice. Não. Não gosto de ficar pegando colecionável nesse jogo por causa da demora, velho. Fica atrasando o negócio. Faltei mais um nível, velho. Pegar esses daqui agora. Eu vou fazer essa daqui. Beleza. Bora.
The Dalton boys knew I would never give up. Those Daltons weren't the sharpest knives in the drawer, but they always stood together. They set a trap to slow me down and allow at least two of them to escape. The third brother stayed behind to plant me, just in case that trap of theirs didn't work. It was Emmett, the youngest, and he decided to stand his ground and face me down.
I ain't afraid of you, Silas Reeves. This is where it ends for you.
He was determined to protect his brothers. And I understood how he felt. Taking me on all by his lonesome wasn't exactly a recipe for a long life.
You are dead, law dog.
Cadê ele?
Gonna send you to the bone orchard. You messed with the wrong damn Dalton.
Ai.
I'm gonna cut you in half.
But Emmett Dalton survived the robbery in Coffeyville. He's the only Dalton who did.
They say he was shot 23 times.
Well, Dwight, who do you think put all those
Olha
damn
isso, eu
holes
tirei
in?
mais de 30 no cara.
But I have to admit,
3 cartuchos.
that boy had grit.
Tá. Caçador de recompensas ainda é meu nome. Mais um episódio? Ou não?
We'll get those suckers.
It took me a couple of days to track the Daltons down.
They can't get away with this.
And in that time, a whole posse of local vigilantes offered to lend a hand.
É meus parceiros. Eu perdi essa história.
They seemed as determined as me to find those outlaws. But as we headed into those swamps, it was like I had my own private army. There was no way those boys were getting away this time.
It was early fall, right? Beautiful time of year. At least you had the weather on your side.
Not by my recollection. It was damp and foggy as hell. It was tough to stay on a true course. So we kept an eye out for landmarks.
Landmarks. Ah, eu tenho que seguir esses caras.
It was autumn. The maple trees were in full color, red as blood.
Olha que doideira.
The rains that year were torrential, so the whole area was flooded.
O indicador
The
foi
vigilantes had
desativado.
spread out wide, and pretty soon I couldn't see anybody.
Entendi. Bom, vou seguir os lenços lá, velho. Seguir esses lenços vermelhos aí. Abriu aqui. Tem um negócio aqui. Será que dá pra subir aqui? Não. Não. Barco? Não, é carroça isso daqui. Parecia um barco.
Except for some bitches ahead of me wanting to do me harm. So I had to face them alone. I wondered why my compatriots didn't come running when they heard the shots.
Tem um indicador pra cá, mas ali parece que não tem nada. Tem como quebrar? Não. Aqui.
So did you find the Daltons?
Not yet, but I did have the questionable pleasure of meeting a few of their friends.
Cheguei rushando. Não vi nenhum lugar pra me esconder.
The boys had established quite a reputation by that time, so they attracted all manner of riffraff to their cause.
Filho de águia, detector de pipitos, isso daqui é interessante. Bolsos grandes, aumenta a capacidade de munição de rifle, armas flamejantes, recarregamento rápido, mira estável. Vou pegar esse daqui e esse daqui. Espingardeiro, que porra é essa? Toma.
Point being, I was under serious attack.
Rifle é melhor, rifle é melhor.
And my reinforcements was nowhere to be seen.
Cadê, velho? Mas era ele que tava atirando em mim, eu
But
acho.
luckily, A barn materialized as if right before my eyes. I scrambled up top to get a better view, but just ended up falling inside.
So, how did you get out?
The barn doors was open. About right then, I saw some suspicious characters running for the bushes. Of course, I followed them. That goddamn swamp was like a goddamn maze, and pretty soon I had no goddamn idea where I was. Steve? So I just started walking, and pretty soon I...
Cadê esse cara?
Steve? Steve?
Huh? Oh, no, I'm listening.
Indians surrounded me from all sides.
Indians?
There were Indians.
No. I just wanted to make sure Steve was paying attention.
Indianos.
Now, where was I?
You were following the Daltons through a swamp?
That's right. See, Steve? Dwight's paying attention.
No, I'm listening. I was just resting my eyes.
É por aqui?
So, where was I?
The Daltons.
Right. See, there's a reason so many outlaw gangs are made up of brothers. Being a brother is a very sacred thing. It's a bond like no other.
Munição. Corda. Tá indicando pra cá, então vamos pra cá.
Bounty hunter! Stop that, son
So did you ever find the damn Daltons?
Not yet, but I did find a few of their cousins. You Kansans breed like rabbits. Or Smiths or Heimhoffers or who knows what. But hell, what's more important than family? I bet Ben knows what I'm talking about.
Bury him in the swamp. They're gonna need a dustpan.
Morreu?
Kill that
Mano. Toma. 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 Bom.
You can't get me.
cara tava, velho. Não consigo ver, cara. Palhaço. Mano, que fase tensa, hein, velho? Isso aqui é tenso. Escondido, velho. Não dá nem pra ver onde os caras tá te atirando.
It's you or me.
Ó. Toma. Subir aqui pra ver se eu pego visão, velho. Ah, peguei munição. Eita.
I knew those Dalton boys were out there
Aí,
somewhere,
né?
standing together against anyone who would threaten them.
Não faz skill de rifle, velho, mesmo. É, eu tenho que liberar logo isso daqui, velho. Vamos nessa.
And that's when I saw it. A goddamn steamboat.
A steamboat in a swamp?
Yeah, Steve, but this wasn't much more than a wreck, really.
But how'd a damn steamboat end up in the swamps? Guess it floated off during the flood of '89.
Now, was it a stern wheeler or a side wheeler?
What? Does that really make a difference, Steve? It was a steamboat with a goddamn army on board. It was then that a fusillade of bullets come raining down from on high. And those vigilantes who accompanied me weren't anywhere to be found. But among those men that were shooting at me, I thought I saw some familiar faces. Somewhere up there, the Daltons were waiting on me.
Sounds like you don't give up too easy.
That's the kind of man I am, Ben. I set out to do something. I do it. Surrender just ain't in my nature. Plus, I'm stubborn as hell.
Que louco, mano. Que da hora, velho.
Right about then, much to my relief, the vigilantes finally arrived. Their leader motioned at a cabin in the middle of the top deck, pointing me directly at the Daltons. I finally had them, after months of dogged pursuit. But it turned out that they had me.
Take him out! I'm sending you to hell!
Os caras.
The Daltons had played me like a fiddle.
After all this,
Apparently, the vigilantes were on their damn payroll. They didn't just want to shoot me. They wanted to burn me alive. but finding my way out of a burning labyrinth proved to be quite a challenge.
It was a riverboat, right? I mean, it's not like it was a goddamn ocean liner.
Oh yeah, but I was in a
Did you
fight.
hear about that shipment to launch next year? Largest one in the world.
You're talking about the Titanic. If you ask me, it's too blessed big. I don't think it'll even float.
So anyway,
Don't be stupid, Steve. They know what they're doing. They say that the Titanic is unsinkable.
oh God,
But getting back to that steamboat, how did you get off it, Mr. Greaves?
I took in a lot of smoke that day, so I admit my recollection might be a bit hazy. But somehow I managed to finally disembark.
Wow.
It was time to settle this once and for all.
Toma. Fuzilei todo mundo. Scarface, moleque. Scarface. Tá, 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 tá.
Bob and Grad weren't about to come at me one at a time. They were in this together.
Tá, vamos lá. Liberar isso daqui. Pular pra cá, né? O que é isso aqui? É rifle? Rifle ou espingarda? Lutador, corpo a corpo. Não, isso daqui é dor. Isso daqui é espingarda. Rápido no gatilho, mira mais rápida. É melhor isso daqui. Passei.
Two brothers side by side, determined to take me down. Confident that this time the odds were on their side.
Foco. Ah, o outro ali é mais rápido. O outro é mais rápido. Ok. Eu tenho que focar nos dois agora, velho. Eu vou ter que focar nos dois agora. Não, eu tenho que focar só naquele ali. O outro demora mais. É só naquele ali mesmo. Só naquele ali. Vamos lá. Mano. De novo. Ó, tá no meio dos dois. Ah, velho. É tu. E aí já dá na segunda.
Two brothers side by side, determined to take me down. Confident that this time the odds were on their side.
Foco 70%. Nossa, não entendi, mano. Quando eu vi o batimento cardíaco, você está pronto para atirar. Você pode sacar primeiro, mas... Tá. Quando eu vi o batimento cardíaco, eu atiro, então. Vamos lá. Que é foda, vai ser tenso duelar com esses dois juntos aqui. Ó. Vamos lá. Na hora que eu fui atirar no outro cara, mano. Mano. 2x1, vai. Vai, vai, vai. Mais. Foca. Tá.
They got it wrong. A sad end for those two. If they'd only known that Emmett was still alive despite his wounds.
Perfeito, velho. Joguei justo.
Paroled 14 years later, he moved to California and sold real estate and lived off the legend of that fateful day. And the tragic death of his two brothers.
Beleza. Mano, essa foi foda, velho. 2x1.
My own brothers died tragically as well, truth be told.
Mano, era naquele cara mesmo que tava mais perto, mano. Ou tava mais longe, então ele demora mais. Ele é mais rápido pra sacar, mas a bala dele é mais lenta.
It was 1868, and me and my older brothers were pulling a tidy profit running cattle into Juarez, Mexico. One night after my brothers retired for the evening, I found a little poker game in a cantina with a couple of cowboys. And I just couldn't lose. I even won an old Spanish coin that had to be 100 years old. Well, I was mighty pleased with myself the next morning as my brothers and I rode for Texas. But before we crossed the border, those cowboys caught up with us. It was Johnny Ringo, Roscoe Bob Bryant, and another asshole named Jim. They wanted their money back and everything else we had, including our lives, as those boys didn't want us coming for them later. Bob put that old Spanish coin in my mouth and said, "I won't have it said that I left you with nothing, boy." Well, those horses bolted, and there we hung as those bastards rode away. The branch finally snapped under the weight of the three of us, but being my older brothers were bigger and heavier, they were already dead. And right then I swore to myself that I would avenge them.
Ele ficou vivo.
Ringo you know about. But Bob eluded me, until I heard he was riding with the Wild Bunch.
Que treta, velho. Nada espetacular, roubo ao trem. Vamos nessa.
I'd been on their trail for months, ever since they left their hideout in the Bighorn Mountains. Led by Butch Cassidy. They were a loose association of outlaws who robbed banks and trains from Colorado to Montana. Among them was the Sundance Kid, and that murderous hombre I was tracking, Roscoe Bob Bryant. They blew the bridge with the intention of forcing the train to stop.
Suba na ponte.
Well, I assumed the Wild Bunch was likely in the still intact part of the train high above. I was determined to make that sumbitch Bob pay for what he did to my brothers.
Que é isso? Ficamos ferrados. Quantas balas? Ah, esse daqui acho que é melhor. Acho que o cano cerrado é mais forte, né?
My ears are still ringing from blowing up that bridge.
Well, I made my way off unscathed and came upon a few members of the gang and had no choice but to dispatch them. From there, I had to negotiate an even more precarious route. But first, I would need to get my ass out of there. I jumped from the frying pan into the fire as the train was clearly fixing to fall. I had found the gang, but in order to find old Bob, I needed to fight my way forward past a whole passing of desperados. Outside, inside, any way I could, I made my way towards my friend.
Well, what about the passengers?
It was mostly a freight train, as I recall. There were no passengers aboard that day.
Caralho, velho. Nossa. Nossa, de perto essa arma é um lixo. É um rifle, hein? Tá, pra onde eu vou?
As I mentioned before, I am not fond of heights. But I was too busy dodging bullets to worry about falling to my death.
What?
Odds were I was likely to die that day anyway. So I was determined to take down as many of those bastards as I could.
Quem tá atirando em mim? Você, né? Ah, tá trancado.
Times it was like shooting ducks in a shooting gallery. The only difference is these damn ducks shot back.
That's right. Run! Everything.
Sem munição. Opa. Novo nível. Pra onde eu vou agora? Eu tenho que dar a volta ali. Aqui. Ah tá, escalar.
I kept hoping the law would show up and give me a hand.
Like that giant Pinkerton posse that I read about. Did they come riding in, guns a-blazing to help?
Grande grupo versus bando selvagem.
Help? From the Pinkertons? No, son. I had to fight the wild bunch all by my lonesome, as usual.
Nossa, azedou.
Who the hell is that? Retreat! He's killing everybody! Better kill us all! We know where you're at! Goddamn law dog!
My guess is those dime novels didn't portray this as it happened, did they? Only a few stragglers were left. I had to cut them down pronto if I was going to stay on old Bob's trail. Once I silenced all those guns, I went searching for my nemesis, determined to finally have my justice. But the only survivor who welcomed me was George Flat-Nosed Curry.
Who was he?
The fastest gun in the gang. Right after Sundance, I mean. And Kid Curry, and maybe Elsie Lay. Though some folks might dispute that. On that very same day, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid decided to leave the Wild Bunch behind and decamped for South America.
Ué, o cara sacou? Ah, depois eu vou ver se ele sacou primeiro, mano. Pra mim, o cara sacou.
They ended up living down there for many years, but I'm sure you already know all about that.
Tá bom, um com honra, dois honrados, um sem honra. Whatever. Whatever.
I tried to find Bob Bryant, but it was as if he'd disappeared. Sometime later, I heard the Wild Bunch was back together. Kid Curry escaped from jail, and now he was running the whole shebang. So I took to their trail, as I was still in pursuit of my brother's killer and hoped that he was back with him.
That Kid Curry's kinda crazy, ain't he?
Anyways, I tracked those boys to a camp right outside Parachute, Colorado.
Veio pro lado errado. Era pra cá, não pra lá. De novo. Cheguei tacando dane-se também.
Being outnumbered, I didn't bother with a warning shot. I just started taking those bastards down. Old Bob wasn't among them, neither was Kid Curry. I could sense him close by, however, plotting something nasty. I just needed a clue as to their whereabouts.
You or me?
Mano,
Got a lot more bullets.
acabei de botar a cara, o cara atirou em mim. Ali. Por isso, né, que tava atirando fácil. Mira mais rápida, mire depressa nos alvos. Ok. Esses dois aqui eu vou liberar. Na verdade, eu acho que eu vou liberar todos esses daqui do... Munição dourada. Coice, velocidade de mira, cartuchos. Armas flamejantes. Recarregamento rápido de rifle. Tempo de recarregamento. Não, esses daqui não. Vou pegar todos esses daqui. Todos. Divide dinamite. Faça chover fogo. Ao apertar G, você divide sua dinamite em 3 que causam o mesmo dano. Tá, tanto faz. Vem por baixo então e libera esses daqui, ó. Aí depois eu faço essa daqui e termina o jogo. É pra carregar mais rápido. O que é isso aqui? É outra? Ah, tá. 2 pistolas de cada. Agora tá mais fácil achar os negócios, porque ele tá fazendo barulho, né? Tá mais fácil achar as cartinhas. Você está se afastando da história. Tá, vamos. O que é isso aqui?
And I found one.
Um mapa.
A map with their bold plan clearly marked. This time they were fixing to blow up a train trestle. Property of the Union Pacific.
União Pacífica. Assisti uma série que tinha esse nome aí, União Pacífica.
The plan clearly indicated how they were fixing to undermine several of the weakest wooden supports.
Uau. Bem legal.
Kid Curry was considered the wildest of the wild bunch. It was said that he fathered 85 bastard children, though some say it was only 5. Kid Curry had bragged to a whore how he was gonna rob a train heading to the U.S. Mint in Denver. And that whore, Fat Sally, she told me.
Sally gorda. Ui, quase. Tá, escala. Deve ter alguma coisa pra escalar aqui. Opa. Não. Será que é aqui? Não, não. Como que eu passo pra lá então? Ah. Vamos ver. Pulando, será? Será que eu consigo pular pra... Ah, não, aqui. Ah.
Of course, I had to tread carefully. Otherwise, I could, well, die.
Não entendi. Tá, pulo aqui. Beleza. Passa pra cá. Aí. Ok. Pulando? Eu consegui andar agora.
The bridge was rigged with dynamite, so I decided I'd best be careful confronting those bastards.
Tem dinamite.
A moment later, I saw a ladder that somehow had escaped my attention.
Don't you blow us up now.
Don't worry, I know what I'm doing.
Madeira. Caiu.
But the wild bunch did not take kindly to my presence and attempted to blow my head off. It appeared the kid had found a number of new recruits to bolster their ranks. Yes, there's always desperate men willing to trade their lives for stolen treasure.
What happened next?
Well, having removed the first bundle of dynamite, I decided I might as well remove the other one. Once that was done, I figured I'd find my way from there.
Engardeiro blindado. Ô louco, velho. Oh.
So, what happened then?
Had to remove more of that damn dynamite.
Mais dinamite. Uau.
It must have been terrifying trying to make your way across.
I was sweating it a bit, but then I noticed a footbridge tied up on high, so I shot the rope.
Ali. Interessante. Legal.
So that was all the dynamite?
Funny you should mention that, darling. As actually there was a fourth charge impeding my progress. Once I removed it, my path was pretty clear.
cliquei full errado, velho. Mais um ali.
I proceeded onward to realize that that way just wasn't gonna work. I needed an alternate path forward.
Mira é muito aberta nesse jogo, velho. Isso que é foda. Uma pipita por perto. Aqui? Não. Vamos ver. Aqui. Pede corre.
Luckily, I found a cave, and as I made my way back to the bridge, I saw something that concerned me. It was a long burning fuse, and it was moving fast as hell. I had to catch it. The burning fuse was so damn quick, I had to run like the wind. I almost had it, but no. Thought I was gonna have a coronary when I lost sight of those sparks. My heart was pounding like a sledgehammer. I hope you understand how badly my adventure might have ended had I not been as careful as hell.
Não, por que eu caí?
Get off the bridge!
I knew that failure meant boom. Then, finally, at the last moment.
Oh!
Whew. Of course, I was successful, or clearly I wouldn't be talking to you folks here today. Naturally, I removed the last dynamite charge.
Legal.
Well, it was a touching reunion. But by this time, I was thoroughly exhausted and dragging my ass as I was not a young man anymore.
Kill that SOB! Back here, please!
Send him to
Finally, I found those boys. Or more precisely,
Eu tinha apertado
they
lá.
found me.
Pera, eu nem vi, eu nem li.
Just when I thought things couldn't get worse, Kid Curry opened up on me with a goddamn Gatling gun. It was hidden in this tunnel, pretty well shielded.
Mano, tem demência? O que aconteceu, velho? Cadê? Olha lá, de onde tá vindo a bala. Tá vindo de cima. Tá vindo da onde? Tá vindo de cima. Eu upei? Não. Não upei. horrível, pô. O que aconteceu? Eu morri. Cheio de pulo. Eu morri.
Luckily, I had located some dynamite. I still, however, had my work cut out for me.
Sabia que eu ia morrer. Ok. Ah, bugou, ó. Só tem um boss agora. Só tem o boss. Tem que matar mais dinamite? Será que tem algum lugar que eu posso ir? Vou matar na dinamite. Mais 5 dinamite. Agora o reflexo foi
That's what I met Kid Curry himself.
Easy,
He had
essa foi
decided to
muito
stop
easy.
pussyfooting
Essa foi muito
around and deal with me personally.
Essa foi muito easy.
Come here.
Morreu nós dois, mano. Que abalo. Vai. Ah, tô focado, moleque. Tô focado. Tô focado. Faltou velocidade, Nossa, tempo de reação 0.33, mano. Meu Deus do céu. É mais a velocidade que importa, velho. De novo. O cara é mais rápido, esse aqui, ele é especial. Porque pra um boss ele é um bosta. Ó.
Fast as he was, I was just a bit faster.
Faltou tá na cara dele, mas tá
And
bom.
as he lay wounded, I demanded to know the whereabouts of Roscoe
Eu
Bob
atirei na
Bryant.
cabeça do cara.
He
fudido.
shouted at me.
Ixi.
Is that what this is about? Bob went with Butch and Sundance to South America. You ain't never finding him.
Ah, Caramba, o cara toma um tiro na cabeça, levanta, atira de novo em mim. Cara sujo, velho.
He shouted at me. Is that what this is about? Bob went with Butch and Sundance to South America. You ain't never finding
Vamos
him.
ver. Pau. Tomou. Tchau.
Those were his last words.
Morto com honra. Com 2 honras, hein? E ele jogou na sujeira dessa vez. Legal, legal. Vamos nessa.
So, Bob Bryant got away?
I knew I'd never find him in South America.
Eu acho que eu vou dar
And
uma
what about the
pausa,
other
hein,
killer?
velho?
Yeah, you kind of glossed over that
Pra
one.
depois voltar
Well,
e
I
fazer
found
o fim do jogo.
Jim not
Que
long
capítulo
after my
que eu tô?
showdown with Ringo. At the time, he was riding with the James Younger gang. Did I neglect to mention that?
Episódio 8. É, então é uma boa dar uma pausa aqui e voltar
Jesse
depois.
James? The greatest outlaw who ever lived?
Jesse and his kin rode with Quantrill when he raided Lawrence, Kansas, and killed near 200 people, boy.
Nothing great about that.
And from there, him and his brother went on to rob banks and trains from Kansas to Missouri.
Which is why there was such a rich bounty on their heads. 40 grand for both of them, dead or alive.
É, 2
That's
irmãos.
one hell of a payday.
Beleza. É, vai ser assim, pessoal. Mais uma parte aqui e depois o fim do jogo. Beleza? Achei que o jogo era mais curto, mas é meio longuinho, velho. Assim, passa rápido por ser um jogo de ação, mas é um jogo bem curtinho, velho. Assim, bem curtinho, mas não tão curto. Não é o jogo mais curto que eu já joguei. O jogo passado que eu tinha jogado foi o Bright Memory, era mais curto. Era um pouco mais curto que esse. E o Call of Juarez tem bastante ação, então você, tipo, parece que passa rápido, mas a duração do vídeo é longa. Então a gente volta aí pro final e fica até zerar dessa vez. Só dá mais uma pausa e depois a gente volta com tudo, beleza? Até a próxima parte aí.